today let us talk about fears and facing them. We know that fears on the other side of them is an extremely powerful transformation. So I'm going to talk about a recent fear that actually came true. Like this has been one of my like most fearful moments, and it came true, and here's why this was really, really, really good for me. Right now, before I begin, share with me what is something that you're currently learning that's very exciting. What is that for you? Because for me, it's learning how to do handstands. And, this has been a huge goal of mine. And one of the things that has held me back from actually being consistent with it is the fear of falling, which is a very valid fear, right? Like the fear of getting injured, the fear of dying, really. Every time I thought of a handstand, I would, my body would be like, "Bitch, you're gonna die. You're gonna die today if you attempt that." And so I've been working through shifting those fears, and I am working through a program that actually specifically helps with arm balances, which is really, really super cool. And so, anyway, the other day, one of my fears is obviously falling off in a really weird position. And it fucking came true. I fell, and it's caught on video. I fell like with my body did the weirdest thing. Looking back, it's fucking hilarious. It's so funny now. But at that moment, while I was like upside down and I was trying to figure out what the hell my body is doing, right? Obviously I fell because that's part of the process. And it's really interesting because there was someone there was someone at the gym who actually saw me, and my past self would have been terrified of having someone see me like fall off like that. It wasn't even my face, it was like my whole body. It's really funny. But the fact that that happened, like the actual fear came true, and me learning that it wasn't a big deal. I wasn't even injured. It didn't even hurt that much. And, like there is so much power in learning how when your fears, like whatever you're fearing, actually comes true and you go through with it and you did it anyway and it wasn't as bad. This is where actual neuroplasticity happens. This is where the magic happened. Because as I fell, right, at first I was like in shock. I was like on the ground for like 2 seconds. And then the person who saw me was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm good. It's part of the process." And we laughed about it, right? And so immediately afterwards, knowing exactly how the nervous system learns, I refused to stop doing that. Because what happens is, when we do something, we fail at it, or we fall at it, or we don't get what we expected, and we stop doing it, what have we done there? We have trained ourselves to stop going when things get hard, when we fail. I am not in that era anymore. Like, we are not stopping. We are going to keep going. And this is how the nervous system works. You can choose how to respond in the future based on what you do today. And so, knowing this very fact, I was like, we're not fucking stopping now. And so, I went immediately again, immediately, didn't stop, just went upside down immediately. Guess what happened? I was able to freestand for 2 seconds. I still fell after that, but I was able to freestand a handstand for 2 seconds. I had never done that before, and 2 seconds seems really short, but really fucking long if your body is not used to balancing on your hands. This was a great accomplishment. Like, I never would have thought I would progress this fast, and this is from strategically learning how to work with your fears. And why is this important? Why am I even talking to you about this? You have your own business, you probably are learning something new right now, but really the main lesson learned here is that you get to choose how you respond moving forward. So think of the last time you learned something. When I asked you earlier on in this video, what is something that you're learning that is new and exciting? Part of that process is fucking up, right? Of failing, of making mistakes. How did you respond when you made that mistake? Did you keep going? Did you pause? What is it? This is just data for you so that you can be aware of your patterns moving forward. Like I mentioned, I refuse to be that person who gives up automatically. That has just not been the vibe for a very long time. And so now, really embodying the concepts that I teach inside the bulletproof nervous system, I went back it straight away and boom, things happen. And now I no longer have that fear, right? The next time, which is going to be tomorrow, I'm going to practice it again. Tomorrow, I will be more bold, right? There's going to be next level confidence. I trust myself more. Because what's really funny and interesting is that how I fell, I just allowed myself to fall, right? Like I didn't try to prevent it from falling. Like I knew I was flopping. Like it was done. And when I didn't fight myself, my body just knew how to protect me. Like that's what it does, right? Like that's what the nervous system does. And so it's really cool to like watch back and be like, wow, my body actually saved me in the best way possible to reduce the amount of injury. And like I said, there's no injury. It probably scraped, my knee after the second fall, but that's it. Like there's no injury. And so that fear of being injured and dying is no longer there, which then has helped me to make bolder decisions. How we do one thing is how we do everything. So over the weekend, I just did something that I feared and I just went for it. And here we are. Like I am going through massive transformations right now because of it. This morning, I did a box jump that was higher than I normally did, and I just fucking did it. Why? Because of that one event. And so this is how we truly learn. We as humans are incredibly adaptive. So if you are learning something right now, how can you just allow yourself to go past that fear? And if this is something that you need help with, that is what the bulletproof nervous system is all about, right? This is really just about being adaptive. It is survival of the fittest, right? So if you want to become the best version of yourself, the best coach, the best hypnotist, you need to be adaptive. The online world is ever changing. And so if we do not adapt, if we do not learn how to become really adaptive, we're not going to survive. And that's what the bulletproof nervous system is all about. It is that concept of being adaptive, of knowing when to shift, because really and that's not just in business, that's life, right? We are going to experience stress. I never ever teach just calming the nervous system down because that's just a very, very small part of it. It's being adaptive. It's about leaning in to the comfort and challenges, which leads to growth. If you are a business owner and something didn't go well, maybe a client didn't close as you wanted, and then you sabotage your efforts for marketing and sales afterwards, like you stop showing up, again, that's data. You just haven't learned the ability to lean in and move forward yet. And so wanted to share this with you because it's really, really cool and really transformational. It is the small shifts like this that make a massive impact. And so what are you learning these days? And how can you just lean into that fear, knowing that you move through it, not away from it?